And we're back.
Okay.
Hi,
Hello, Radha.
hello, I'm ready for lesson.
Okay, so you guys have to teach me tonight, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. So it's 6 o'clock straight up. Okay. Okay, what are we doing tonight? I didn't prepare anything.
Well, we could finish up the match with reviewing the match with Steve Sax.
Okay.
One
So
option.
you need a good laugh, huh? Okay. Do that. Um, yeah, let's do that since I prepared nothing. Okay. And let's see, I have to go, I have to share the screen. And I don't know what the thing is. This thing is playing again, and it was because of low memory.
Uh,
Is even though Steve's ahead on the score, his doubling decisions are very similar to his money doubling decisions. If we have a gammonish position, the vig he gets for winning 4 points balances out the fact that he's ahead by 2 points.
So if this looks familiar, I don't remember if we did this one or not. So let me know, okay?
In other words, his
Okay, so standard 4-2, make the 4-point, 4-2P. Only 8 checkers in the zone right now, so not so dangerous in terms of being able to split, right? Even though I'm not, this 4-2 is somewhat compact in that it could lead either to a priming game or an attacking game. And even though I don't feel too worried about being hemmed in, that's Dirk Sheeman seems to use that as criteria oftentimes for when to split. But I believe this is the proper 6-3 response to the 4-2 opening. The 8-point is stripped, so if I'm going to use an ace to hit me, it's going to be breaking the 8-point. And any other 6-3 either runs away, and this is not the type of racing game I want to play with them having a stronger board. And the other plays on this side of the board leave direct bluff.
cue behavior should be if he would double
Okay, 6-1, pretty obvious what he does.
for money, he should double at this score. If it's a gammonish position. In a race is holding games, that's a different story. But
Does this look familiar? I mean, did we do this one already?
I don't recognize it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, good.
And there was an expression used in Art Benjamin's talk that I'm not familiar with. It has to do with gambling. He said if the vig is 4, I don't know what he means by that.
Okay, let's go back, take a look, take a listen.
behavior should be if he would double for money, he should double at this score. If it's a gammonish position. In a race is holding games, that's a different story. But
He said it before that what you just played.
winning 4 points balances out the fact that he's ahead by 2 points. So in other words, his cue behavior should be if he would double for money.
I'd be further back than that then.
Just like about a second before that.
Very similar to his money doubling decisions. If we have a gammonish position,
I'm going to go back 10 more seconds, okay? Just
cool.
Yeah.
Is even though Steve's ahead on the score, his doubling decisions are very similar to his money doubling decisions. If we have a gammonish position, the vig he gets for winning 4 points.
Okay, so the vig he gets for winning 4 points, vig is vigorish. And so he's saying that by winning 4 points, he'll get a little bit extra from, I don't know what the rest of the sentence is. Okay.
Well, can you define vigorish?
Oh, as a gambler, I know what it is. I'm not a gambler, but let's see what we can find out. Vigorish, also known as the vig or juice, is a fee charged by a bookmaker, the house advantage in gambling, or high interest paid to a loan shark. Okay, so in this sense, Art is saying that I'm going to get a little bit more, or Steve will get a little bit more out of that gammonish position. But let's see if it makes sense. Okay, so where was this thing? Right here.
His doubling decisions are very similar to his money doubling decisions. If we have a gammonish position, the vig he gets for winning 4 points balances out the fact that he's ahead by 2 points. So in other words, his cue behavior should be, if he would double for money, he should double at this score. If it's a gammonish position.
Okay. So that makes sense. He's saying the little extra, if Steve has a gammonish position against me and, has a chance to win 4 points, that extra vig, that extra edge he gets balances the 2-point loss.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if that's clear.
So the gain he would get by gambling, by doubling, outweighs the loss if he were to lose.
Lose 2 points. Yeah, that's what it's equal to. He says it balances.
Oh, okay.
So one of the decisions you always have to make is how important are gammons? What's the trade-off? So if you're playing for money, right, or the beginning of a long match, 0-0, the beginning of a long match, then you're willing to trade 2 gammons for 1 loss. Okay, so a loss will take you to -1, and we need to do this on paper to show graphically how this looks, right? But it comes out basically that risking a gammon is half as important as keeping from losing. Okay? Whereas if you're playing it at 2 away, 1 away, then that's as good as your gammons are going to be. So you're willing to trade 1 gammon win for 1 loss. Okay? Whereas normally for money, it's 2 gammons for 1 loss.
Okay.
Okay. So we need to actually get the pieces. Oh, maybe we can draw on here. No, I'll figure out a better way to explain it. Okay. Later. Okay. But that's the math basically. Normally, the gammon's worth half as much, and at a gammon go situation, it's equal. It's equal 1-1. And it changes depending upon that score, what that actual gammon number is, that gammon ratio is, how hard you're pushing for the gammon. Okay.
Races holding games, that's a different story. But he's ahead by 2 points. So in other words, his cue behavior should be, if he would double for money, he should double at this score. If it's a gammonish position. Races holding games, that's a different story. But
It's a little bit different from the previous score we just had, 7-way, 4-way, because
Where he would be even more, there Steve would have to be a little more cautious.
Yes.
On sending that cue.
And part of the reason is because in a gammer's position, if the trailer were to send a 4 cube, right, it's a little bit more efficient winning a match. Double 4.
Right. So I'm also even away. And Paris is saying that if I send over that 4 cube, I have a gammon threat, I could win the match with 8 points, right? Or, oh no, it's a 9-point match. Okay, well, anytime you're even away, gammons are a little more important to you than if you're odd away. Getting to another even score away is a good thing.
Okay.
Okay, you got a 5-3 here.
Wait, what? Oh, okay. I misread the description.
Okay, 41, he would like to hit me, but he can't. He'd like to make the 5-point, but he can't. So what should he do here? Doesn't want to break his this point right here. So what about breaking the 24 point with both numbers?
Okay.
Let's see what Steve thinks. What is this?
What does this do? That's a complete airball, right?
Right. He says, no, I'm not going to split into a 9-point in 9 checkers in the zone position. So he plays it all out here.
Yeah.
Should I double? I ain't got nothing yet, right? Oh, that's gonna
6 not a good play there.
That's another air ball. What should I do?
Well, it seems that 5 has to come down.
Yep. 5 probably has to come down, or the 6 has to come down. You can look at it either way, because they're both blocked back here.
Yeah, you're gonna leave 2 shots no matter what.
No matter what. It's probably better now now that I look at it, to leave it on the 4-point and the 7-point, even though it leaves more shots, the directs plus some indirects. Okay, but the crucial thing can happen pretty soon.
Like, sorry, there's the 6. And
yeah, basically, no matter how you play, that's gonna be the 6, right?
Do you go 7-2 or 13-8? Do you want to give him 3s and 6s, or you want to give him 3s and 1s?
I think 2 down. Play as pure as possible with a bad roll like this.
Yeah, I agree with Paris. I am known for playing pure, and I did not play pure enough in this match. I kept making more tactical moves and playing pure.
I don't know that I want to give him good 6s. I mean, given that he doesn't have good 6s on the other side of the board, there'll be more shots and the good 6s.
That is a good point. However,
Steve's counting. Let's see if we can do it as quickly. Steve has 36, 57, 67, 93, 141 pips, and you can even see he's holding the 41 on his hands. And then Mike has 28, 34, 36, 52, 91, 139. So Steve is down 2 pips, if I'm reading this position correctly. But he says, all right, look, again, you got to think, would you double this for money? If you were in Steve's position, would you double this for money? I think you would, because of both the potential to hit those checkers and the ability to make that solid 4 prime. So, and by the way, that's it. I mean, that's at this score, that's all you have to think about. You don't have to do match equity calculations. Just say, at this score, would I double this for money? Do I have the threats, the gammons, positional advantages? So Steve has a slightly better board. He has threats. He has gammons. Not much in the way of race. All right, so now it's on Mike's end. Mike can actually take this a little more liberally than for money.
Or other 4-away scores, such as 4-away, 5-away, correct?
4-away, 5-away, you have both players have to be careful about the gammon. I'm not sure about this one. Would I?
I mean, with none on the bar, and I mean, the thing with Steve's position is he has that ugly dilly builder on the 4 points, so it's not like his structure's perfect.
They're both stuck on they're both glued on the ace points, so.
And none on the bar.
Yeah, I would, I don't know. I don't know that I could give this up. Oh, and are they still, no, he's not thinking about it. He stopped his clock, and now both players are probably taking pictures of the position. Yep, yeah. There's Mike taking a picture.
Taking a picture of Steve.
But I would estimate that was a take by at least under 50, not more.
So what do you guys think? Is this a take or a drop?
I'm sliding by out.
Well, Steve has the advantage. You've got 2 open blots in your home board. And Steve has the potential to make a 4 prime. So the odds are, it appears to me that the odds are clearly in his court. So I think I would drop too.
Yeah, that's what I thought. When Steve had his hands out there, he wasn't counting the pips of the position. He was counting the rolls that improve the position. And just about every roll that he throws will improve his position. Now, the thing is, his position is actually nowhere near 70% favorite. Right? So I should have been able to figure that out. And even though it improves just about every roll improves it, he will, he's not going over the drop line. Okay.
What about gammons?
I'm sorry?
What about gammons though? It seems like there are some gammon threats on his part.
Right. I think there are. I don't know if they're large enough. Because in actuality, all my checkers are in play. Right? I don't have any dead checkers. This one's kind of a dead checker on Steve's part. Right? But even these guys here that are blots are kind of in play. Right? They're builders for these 4 point and the 2 point. Right? So I have to agree with Paris that this is a take. He says it's bigger than a 0.15 take, and I think it's even bigger than that. Right? What Steve did is buffalo me by counting out the number set for the next roll. And I did the same thing. I looked at the same numbers, and I saw that everything improved his position. And I thought, okay, well, I should drop this thing if that's the case. Okay, so let's switch. Yes?
I have a question about Pratt. So for threats, is that essentially synonymous with market losers?
No. It's in a racing situation, the threat would be being able to convert to a race. So let's say you're being held by a point that's 4 away from your back point, and you roll 5 double 5s or double 6s or 5-6. Those could be market losers. That's a threat, right? but they might not be marked losers. Their threats can take it straight into a race. In a priming game, it might be a threat to make a solid prime. In attacking game, it might be able to, how strong your threats are to attack and put the other person on the roof. Okay? So threats are different in each type of game plan.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to go to XG. Do I have that open? I do not have XG open because I rebooted just now. Sharing the screen, which you guys should be able to see that XG is booting right now.
Yes.
Okay. Open the save game. Looking at backgammon, Michigan Summer Backgammon Championships, Mike versus Steve Sax. Three-way, five-way game. Three-way is 6. No, 3 to 5. This one right here. Okay. So 4-2, of course, make the 4-point. Hiding the bar so I can get to the other things underneath it. Okay. 6-3. Did you guys agree with the split? Or would you have done something else? Would you have run?
Split looked good.
So actually says close between running and splitting, and anything else is a big error or a blunder. 6-1 on his part to make the point on me. That was pretty clear. Anything else is a blunder. 1-6 on my part, putting the block here instead of on the 7-point. Difference of 0.025, so not a huge difference, but this is better. Fewer shots, right? More ways to cover. If not hit. 6-2, he's diversifying out here and preparing to make the 5-point if he can make it. Right? And then from here I roll 5-3. So to make the best of it, I can't move the back checkers here. I can bring 2 down, but best to make a point here, right? That anything else would be almost a triple whopper. And then he rolls a 4-1. I didn't look at his play right here real closely, but I remember I mentioned that I thought he should break the 24-point completely. And what did he do instead? He played this right here. He kind of front loaded. He put his checkers too far forward. So it's almost like he's falling forward with all his checkers so far up this way, right? So XG says his play is a blunder, but let's make sure here. I want to go down to my big error here. So from here, so far, XG thinks that the best play is just making the 8 points when you have a broken 4 prime. And we're looking at the other ones here. It says the second one is probably 8-4, 6-5, which is actually slotting this point right here, right? So it duplicates my 4s. I need 4s and 2s to cover on this side. Duplicates the 4s here, which gives me fewer good numbers. And then it says next is this right here. Splitting these back checkers, which is a blunder. Almost, that's a blunder. And what he did, a bigger blunder. And what I thought that he should do would have been a 1 1/3 whopper right there, making this play right here. Why? It looks like because he cannot build on his side of the board if I'm going to be molesting him right here. Right? Which is why you might want to make a small split and not a big split. Okay? But XG says just work on your side, improve your 3 prime to a 4 prime, both broken primes, and actually slotting it would be the quickest way to make it. Right? All right, then I roll 6-5. And they're close right here, right? These two, there's a rollout that was done. The play I made and the play that Paris thought was more pure, they're both very, very close. Art didn't like it for the fact that it gave 6s, and those were unduplicated on his own side of the board. Right? And then when Steve doubled me, let's see, double pass. It's a quadruple whopper to pass this thing. How do we know that? Okay. So the greener the number is, the better it is for him. And the redder the number is, the poorer it is for him. So let's look at one of his average rolls. His average rolls are somewhere around 70%, right? So those are rolls that take him from his position right here, 63%, and they would take him to about 69, 70%. Okay. So it's an improvement, but it hasn't pushed him into the double drop area. It wouldn't, take him into the drop. And so the only ones that are really bad are things like double 1s and double 3s and 1, 2. So 1, 2s and 3s, which look like double 1s making the 5-point and hitting, right? Double 3s hitting and making the 3-point. Oh, and by the way that you can tell that in XG, when you look at the dice distribution, is you can hover over the square. So hitting with 1, the 24 to 23, making the 5-point, and then just playing 10 to 9 is how you play double aces. Double 3s, hitting on the, that's 3-1. 3-1 hitting twice, minor board. Double 3s, make the 21-point and make the 3-point. So you can do that just by hovering over the points. I'm not sure about BG Blitz. I'm sure that Frank probably does something similar. Okay. Okay, so the idea is, though, he does have some bad numbers. Maybe double 5s might be kind of bad, or double 5s would be one of the worst ones. But even his average numbers still give me a take. So that's where I was buffaloed. I should have taken it. It looks really horrible, right? But it's actually playable. And I'm usually the type of person, I'm usually the type of player that can find these as, even though they look ugly, they're playable. Okay. Anything else you need to discuss about that position right there? I'm trying to find you guys again. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Well, for what it's worth, I would have dropped that one too.
Yeah. Yep. And Paris would have easily scooped that one up, and Art wasn't quite sure. Okay. So
I estimate that was a take by at least 150, not more.
150, yeah. And Paris is right.
Again, Steve's double is a money double, and therefore correct. And Mike can take a little more liberally, trailing at the score. Okay, now it's 3 away, 6 away, and the personality of this score is if Mike reaches a position that's gammonish and a double for money, then it would be a correct pass for Steve at the score.
Wow.
It happens when one player needs twice as many points as the other. Right.
See, this sort of thing from Art is just gold, right? He needs 3, I need 6. I need twice as many as he does. Double gammonish drop. Right? Where normally would be a take for money.
Mhm.
But it's Steve that's going to have the advantage here. Steve will only double if it's a clear pass from money. Otherwise, he plays on. Five down, and yep, scoot up there. That looks about right. Five one.
Okay. How important it is for me to split my back checkers here. He's got 10 in his own, but it's kind of a primish position, right? What are the options here? How should I play this thing?
Well, I don't see the
What's your
dice.
role? Yeah.
I don't see the dice.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. I don't what?
What is the roll?
Oh, 5-1. It's not showing there, is it? There it is. Okay. So one play is 11-5, right? And I still have a bit of outfield control with the spare on my midpoint. I could play 13-5, 6-5, right? I could play 24-18, come all the way out, or do a smaller split, 24-23 with a 5 down. I don't know if I know how to decide what to do, but I think splitting the back checkers is correct. Okay. And with that, I don't think you want to go all the way out, but maybe play something like 13-8. You guys have an argument for another play?
Does moving 11-5 give you more options for making the 4-point next roll?
Yes. It gives you more options, and also even attacking on the ace point.
Mhm.
So I'm sure that would be a strong contender, right? And how important is outfield control here if he comes into my outfield, right? How important is it to keep him from dropping checkers into his outfield and improving his frontal position? So I don't know what these guys have to say, but I feel like I need to split these back checkers here.
Five one. Like, then he not split the back figures, and then the only five I see is.
So well, or you could go 11-5, but you're saying
I think splitting is mandatory here.
Well, given that
whether
Steve
to play 13-8 or not, I think it's better to keep the spare on the mid. Just pick up that blind 11-6, 24-23. It's a little bit on the passive side, but you just have to split.
Whoa, I agreed with Parrish just now.
I think I agree with splitting.
Okay, 2-1. That's probably a good roll for Steve, right? 2-1 from here for white.
Yeah.
Play 8-5, or you drop them down from the midpoint. I think you want to make the 21 anchor, right?
I agree with splitting.
Okay, I'm nowhere near close to a double.
Here. It's two. Okay, at least he can run out with one of the guys.
Right. That's mandatory, and either one can come out. Which one do I bring out? Well, the least number of shots. I don't know. I was first thinking this would bring it to the 15-point least shots. Got 3s plus 2-1, but then you also have 6-5, right? And then if you play this one out to the, let's see, can you do this? Yeah, 2-6, 6-2 to here, or 6-2 to the 16 point. He's got 4s plus 3-1 and double 2s. is 14 numbers, and double sixes is 15 numbers to hit this guy. So 15 numbers is that more? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 for the blot on this point. And it was how many? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 and 15. So which ones of his rolls are powerhouse rolls? Probably if I have the blot on this point right here.
Would you also count the 6-4 to hit the 2 if you don't move that one out?
I probably would. We got a 3-point board versus a 3-point board. So he could probably well do that. Okay. So the next thing I was looking at was how if you roll something like double fours and the blot is here and here, right? Then the double fours will play pretty powerfully. Hit, make the 4-point, hit the 2-point. Right? Versus if it was here and here, then nothing would be as powerful, double threes, but it kind of does unduplicate his 6-4 to hit on the 2-point. So I don't know for sure, right? But I don't know if I know what to do today, but I'd probably go with the blot on the 15-point.
First, you have to run, I think. 13-5 just strips your position too much.
Let's see.
Yeah, you don't want to be.
Mike has a pip count of 142, and minus the 8 that he just rolled, 134. And Steve has what, 20, 34, 58, 90.
Now, typically in these situations,
139.
Okay, so it'd be 134, 140, 139. If Art counted it correctly, then I'm 5 pits ahead after this roll. So which means I would tend to make the running type of gameplay.
So
you do want to run out with the forward guy so that you remain. But the difference is that perhaps if you were to run out to the 16-point, some of the fours were duplicated, but maybe it's not such a big deal.
good roll from.
Okay, so did you hear what the criteria that Paris used for which checker to run out?
I think I heard him say you run out with the forward checker,
Right, that's what he's saying. Right?
but I don't know why.
I don't think he says exactly why, right? I don't know if it's infield coverage or inner-board coverage after that, or from what if Art's counting is correct, then that would be running the front one to change it into a racing game.
34, and Steve has what, 20, 34, 58, 90.
Now, typically in these situations,
139. So
you do want to run out with the forward guy so that you remain. But the difference is that.
Did you guys catch what he said? Is you want to run out with a forward guy so you remain what, put? What did he say?
Is he thinking about maximizing contact with the checker that's farthest back?
Maybe, yeah, if they come into this area right here, right?
So that seems to imply that the value of the rear guard is fairly high.
Yeah, I don't have any empirical data to say one way or the other, though. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm coming to the right conclusion based on what Paris said about being obligated to run out with a forward guy.
Yeah, I don't know either. We'd have to ask him to elaborate even more, right?
So that you remain. But the difference is that.
Why did Steve play that 2 instead of safetying the checker up?
Which 2 did he play?
So this was the original position. after he hit me with the
So that you're right.
after he hit me with the 3. Now he has a 2 to play. He could play to the 8. Instead, he plays from 8 to 6. Why does he do that?
It seems that he wants to maintain the maximum outfield control.
Yeah, possibly if I roll a 5-4. I think he wants to give himself a 6 here, or 6-1, 6-3, right? So this if I by playing it here, he takes away the 6-3, and he also takes away 6-2 and 6-4. Whereas by playing it here, he's got 6-1, 6-3, 6-4, 6-2. So he has more good numbers this by playing it 8 to 6. Right? So this one checker out here gives him more point building numbers.
But the difference is that perhaps if you were to run out to the 16 point, some of the fours were duplicated, but maybe it's not such a big deal.
Good roll from Mike.
4-3 is, well, that solves all the issues that he had. That position looks pretty balanced now. 6-4.
Well, Steve did that pretty quickly. I guess he didn't want to touch these checkers right here, right? The checkers on his 21 point and on his midpoint, the 13 point. So it looks like he does the best that he can do, but he could also make the 2 point, leave 2 blots out here. Probably too rich, huh? Okay. So he chooses to go with just 1 blot.
Balance now. 6-4. Oh, did he have to do that? I didn't see the initial.
Kinda.
Yeah.
He is
Okay, so there is a blot on the other side where you don't have to play super safe here.
Yeah, I agree. I think today I would make the 9 point. Right? So that means it would look like a blot here. And this point made. So we have 1s and double 3s and 6-3 to hit me here. But there's a blot over here in the case where he can't cover it. So I think that's the play I would make now.
I don't know. He would have made that.
13. I was thinking seriously about 13-9.
Yeah.
By the way, it was according to the chat, it was a ginormous take for Mike on that last cube, 0.37 take.
Yeah. Okay. So I was underestimating. I said 150 at least.
You were right. All right.
In fact, it was. I don't say in the chat. It's actually no double. Size
5.058, but that's not a bad
bluff. Yeah. Got it through.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he's getting
basically we're just waiting right now. We're holding our 21 points and our midpoints, seeing who has to blink first.
6-1 odds.
Yeah. Speaking of bluff cubes, there's a similar saying, not similar, but relevant saying in poker. That goes, it ain't spew if it goes through.
It's true.
Yeah.
And that's something that XG also tells you. When we go back to XG, it becomes a double if there's a certain percentage of the time somebody might drop the cube, right? So they might have a number like 7% of the time. If 7% of the time somebody's going to drop it, then even though it's not technically a proper double, it becomes a proper double. So the other thing was we're waiting, we're holding our positions, but you also want to be able to have a strong board when you do get a shot at something. And that's why I was really hesitant to leave the 3 blots in my inner board.
5-4 for Steve.
How can Steve play so wide open?
Because you have 3 blots.
I got 3 blots. Yep.
Here's his who wants
Well, whenever your opponent has 3 blots in the inner board, you can play very, very loose. Like you can do anything you want. So if he's got like a racing lead, he's going to say, I'm going to just take this as an opportunity to get out of Dodge.
Yeah. So this is a bit of a bad roll.
A little awkward, but he's
Okay, now
In this match score, do I have a double? What would it depend upon? If we use, let's say use Sprat, right? The score means I can be a little more aggressive. P means position. Well, the positions are pretty equal. The race, we'd have to count up to see what the race is. If I'm ahead in the race, then that would be a good thing in this position. And threats. I'm threatening to attack on my 4 point. Right? Or I could go to a racing game with double 5s or double 6s. Right? So again, a lot of it depends upon the race, what the pip count is. So what do I have here? 2 times 21 plus 2 times 13 is 68. 78, 88, 98, 101, 111, 112, 112. And he's got 21 on the back and 39 in the front. So he got 60 and 25, 85, 95, 97, 107. So I'm behind 5 pips right now. So probably not enough to double with the threats I have here. The minor threats.
now you should stop and think. There are some good rolls here.
That's a
a very
good
good roll, like that one. Huh?
You could have maybe considered that for
I'm not sure.
a little bit thin, but
It was thin.
yeah, I mean,
Now let's.
This is the market loser, right? Now if I double him, what's going to do?
Can drop.
Going to drop.
Give some thought to this, Mike, right?
yeah, I would have
Mike
honestly
says he said that's enough thought. Okay, so again, is this gammonish? I guess a little bit, not horribly gammonish. I mean, is it a
this must be a pass. No, I mean maybe not a huge pass, but this must be a pass.
so Mike's got 108 pips and Steve's got 111 pips. I guess, a 5-point board, Steve could be on the bar for a while. There is some gammons here.
Yeah.
My rule in this at this score is if this would be a legit double for money, if the position's gammonish, and by that I mean if Mike can win 10% gammons or more, then I think it's a pass at this score.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I can easily win 10% more gammons here. Okay, so let's go to XG. Next game. Okay, 5-2. And XG says that the normal top 2 plays this is a normal split, right? And 2 down. Now favor the 2 down because this is a little more gammonish this way, right? I give up a little bit in terms of winning chances. I'm going to give up 50.3 versus 50. So I give up 0.3 in terms of wins, but I gain 1.2 in terms of winning gammons. Right? I even went just a tiny bit more in terms of backgammons. So this is correct at this score. Then Steve rolls 5-1 from here. How do you play 5-1?
Well, 13-8 and split.
Split, right?
First.
Yeah, you don't consider slotting right here, right? Not at this match score. So I had no double. That's what it's saying here. And it's saying he should slot. That's what XG is saying on the first pass. It says Steve should be slotting. So it has this equity at slotting, and a little bit behind, not much different, is the split, which looks like this right here. Okay. And the other ones are farther away. So the top two plays are slotting or splitting. Okay. Then I roll 5-3 from here. I don't see anything better than making the 3-point. And it would be a whopper not to do that. He rolls double threes. And he says, Instaboard. Anything else would be a whopper and a half at least. Then I roll 3-1. Yes, I'd like to split, but even better, I get to make the 5-point. Again, double whopper, do anything else. He rolls 5-2. Okay. He says he wants to split further up over here. You guys agree with that? I mean, if he plays checkers on this side of the board right here, he can't really diversify much, right? He could play 13 to 11 and come up with a 5. But then again, the same situation, I'm going to be molesting him while he's trying to build something on this side, which you can't do. So his play's got to be one of the best. Let's see what it's saying for all these other ones. So this is a play that Steve made, right? And then it's saying that it's third best, but they're close. It's saying 2 down is better, and even just hiding that checker, because it's saying you're not likely to improve your side on your side of the board if you're being attacked. Okay. So from here, I rolled a 5-1. There's a bit of discussion about this, right? 11 to 5 or split. So Paris was pretty adamant about splitting. And if we split, I think 13 to 8 would be better than 11 to 6, which is, I think, what I did, huh? Yeah. Oh, guess what? Let's see, where are these things? Oh, this is interesting. So I know we didn't go over this game right here. Here's the initial position, double fives to be played. And so far, XG is saying that the best play is just to take this checker 11 to 5. Okay. It says don't expose yourself, because he's got 10 checkers of his own and he wouldn't mind attacking. So I made the second best play. It's a Japanese blunder, difference of 0.046. And anything else, let's do the final. Like hitting is not so great, right? It's actually a blunder. And just coming out, not so great. And then this one that looks pretty good is also another blunder. So it's saying that if I'm going, it's saying that the 5 has got to be 11 to 6. And then you have to decide upon the ace. And it says that not splitting is better. Okay. It's a big enough difference. I don't think that would be reversed on a rollout. Okay, he rolls 2-1, which has got to be good. Make that anchor. Anything else would be a 5 times whopper. Okay. 6-2. There was a bit of discussion about this right here. Okay, so I ran with this front guy right here. Right? And running with the back checker, it turns out. Where is it? 6-2, move. running with the back checker is not quite as good. This is the back checker, even though there's a little bit of duplication on the fours. And then bigger errors of 13 to 5 from here. 13 to 5, just hiding it. And 23 to 21, 13-7. Okay. Are much bigger errors. So the two top plays are this one, and the better of the two is this one right here. They both yield 15 numbers. This one wins me more, probably because of the racing game angle. Okay.
That also confirms what Paris said, that you have to run out with the forward guy.
Yeah, which, and until we test it more, might be a good general rule. But we'd have to test it and see how many exceptions there are to that case. Right?
Okay.
Okay, but in the one of the matches that I played to win the backgammon board I own right now, that $250 entry fee, and the 4 players, the winner gets the board. Okay. I was kind of irking my opponent because I wasn't that great yet. I wasn't very good. But I asked him, when he did something similar, running out one of the 2 back checkers, I asked him why he left the further one back. He said for better coverage of the inner board. So maybe that is a good general rule of thumb. But again, we need to test it out with more empirical data.
Okay.
Okay, 3-2. Steve did this right here pretty quickly. Okay. So 13-10, 8-6, 13-10, 8-6. Yep. So we see how big the different ones are. Dropping 2 down, which leaves the blot on the midpoint, and just picking it up here. He's got more numbers. He's got better diversification of numbers to make his 4-point or his 7-point by playing this. Okay. So that's all he had to look at. And look at distribution and how all the numbers played to make these points right here. Okay. So from here, I roll 4-3. It's got to be a godsend. Yep. Huge difference from anything else. 6-4. Did he play it right not to leave just that one blot? It looks like he did, right? And the second best play of making the 2-point, which looks like this, is a small error. But it's not as bad as you would think, leaving 2 blots out of here. Okay. Then I roll double 2s, and I just broad checker to here. So I would today I would make the 9-point, I think. Yep. So it's an error, not a huge error. This is the play that I made. And this is the play that XG likes. And XG says it's a 0.043 error. So again, the Japanese, instead of using 0.080 like the Americans and everybody else does, they use 0.040 as their blunder line. Okay. So yes, I would make this play again. This play right here, instead of I wouldn't make this play anymore. Okay. From here, you roll double aces. You can't play here, you can't play here. He doesn't want to push these guys, so he just picks up his blocks, kind of smooths it as best he can. Okay, which has to be the best. And then from here, I rolled 5-1. Okay. Did I do right by making 3 blots in my inner board, but keeping my so what I did was, I did this one right here, which keeps spares on the 6 and the 5-point. So the choice would have been to keep another interboard point, but play 6 to 5, right? So we have to go deeper than the one ply. And so we're going to go plus plus. And XG says that it's a toss-up between the play that I made and this play of keeping the 3 point. Right? But now I only have one builder for that. But even something like this, not too far off, and this, not too far off. Okay? But luckily, or I tossed a coin and I made the right play. And from here, he rolls 5-4. Should he have come out like that? He's going to be ahead in the race by 12 pips after that. So he probably doesn't want to start to change it into a racing game, because his 6s will have to play from his 21 point or his 13 point in the future if he doesn't do something right now. So he would be the one that might have to leave a dangerous blot. Okay? So he plays 5-4 by, let's see, this one right here. By coming out, right? And making the 2 point. And XG is saying that anything else is a blunder. Any other play, making the ace point, keeping the anchor, giving 2 blots here, a four blot and a 1 blot here, all blunders. Okay? So Steve did the right thing pretty quickly, right? So maybe he was keeping a running pip count. Maybe he knew what the pip count was. Maybe he's looking at his 6s that would have to leave a blot somehow. Okay? So from here, I roll 6-5. Cleaning up those blots has to be good. And not even close. He rolls 3-1 from here. How do you play 3-1? He is now 1 pip ahead, and he's got 4 pips to play.
Go to 12 and be 19-20.
Yep, maybe that. And she says, yeah, it's not even close. Right? He's still 5 pips ahead in the race, so maybe he's got to be, he doesn't have the anchor anymore. So he's got to try and win the race. Okay. Okay, so this is the position. Should I double? Do I have market losers? Well, I rolled one, right? 3-1 followed by his dance. That's my roll, his roll made it a market loser. So should I double? Okay, here's what XG thinks. Cube, no double take. Okay, I'm a bare favorite. And they were both thinking that it could very well be a double, but it's nowhere close to a double, right? And Art was thinking that it was a thin double, or no, Paris was thinking it was kind of a thin double, which means maybe I had 70% or something, right? Or maybe 66% if there are enough gammons. But I don't have enough here, even, just playing for money or anything, right? I'm only a 56-44% favorite. But this number right here, 2.1%. So you can see the borderline right here. Oh, I'm sorry. No double double. It looks like it is a bare no double. Right? I do a little bit, I give up a little bit of equity by doubling it and then giving him the cube. Right? So see this 2.1% right here? That in the bottom corner. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is if there's a 2.1 chance that Steve is going to drop this, then I should double. Okay. So that's what that's saying.
So is that based on the abilities of your opponent?
No, XG always assumes that XG is playing XG.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that makes a big difference in that, and that really affects that number. Right?
But if you had a weaker opponent, let's say who might be more inclined to make a mistake, would you take that into account?
Yes, definitely. Right. You know, what are the chances to make an incorrect drop?
Mhm.
Right? Okay. So actually saying, no, you don't have a double yet. I rolled a 3-1, which hit and covered, but then he has to dance in order to make it a market loser. Okay. So now it is double pass. Now it says this is the market loser because you hit him and covered and he didn't come in, right? And it is a huge drop. So see this, what he would give me if he took this thing? He'd give me 0.314 more if he took it. And against a 5-point board, if you're up on the bar against a 5-point board, then you've got to be thinking, oh, this is kind of scary. Okay. Because yeah, you double just, I mean, you dance just a couple times, you know, you're in trouble. It gives my checkers time to come around and that. So, you know, Art was figuring it out, but the old rule of thumb, so old reference positions, these types of positions right here, would say double and drop. And I think even had there not been a 24% chance of gammons, because these 3 checkers, they have to roll 7 pips each come into the inner board. Okay. So that between the dancing and these checkers on the outside, you know, that 24% gammons makes it an easy drop. Okay. And let's see, summary. It says, I played advanced. It says that is this the one? Okay, I'm confused. Oh, this is for the match.
That's for the match.
Okay, good. For the game, it said I made 2 small errors that came out to 0.089 and no cube errors. He made no cube errors and no errors. So we had world champ 1.87. I had 2.62. Okay. What are we looking at? I'm trying to go to where? Where am I trying to go? What are we in right now? This one here. You can see the board now. We're starting the next game. The score is now, you can't see it here, but you can see it here. Steve needs 3 and I need 5, right?
Also, the abundance of checkers on the 5-point making some of the hits from the bar. But there's not as many hits from the bar because you play 6 to 5, 2 moves ago.
All right, so now the score is 6-4. That's 3 away, 5 away.
This is a score I'm more familiar with personally.
Oh yeah.
I have more experience in 5-point matches. 6-1. Okay.
Okay, so far routine. Lover sleep with a 6-5. Make the bar point with a 6-1.
And the looks like those scoreboards a little on the side.
Yep.
2-1 here.
Interestingly, I can see the scoreboard on the other. Not if I look at the side camera that's showing the 2 of them.
I think this play is a slot, by the way. I think.
So I didn't examine that in the analysis portion. I did examine it in the game, but using the criteria that I have 1 back, he is 2 back, I didn't slot. Okay, but it might be right. Okay, instead I pushed to pin the checkers on the 8-point, so he can't use a up like 3-1 to make that. He could, but I'd have a direct shot at his 8-point. Okay, that's why I played this 2-1.
Slot the other 5-point.
We'll have to look at it.
He did escape one checker, so he's keen not to have a second checker back.
Okay, so Art is verifying. He's giving the reason for why I did not slot here. Okay, so 5-2. Steve wants to split his back checkers.
But that said, the slot could be right. 3-4.
It's especially based on the score. I want to just
I would jump out.
play moves like that.
So I'm ahead in the race, so I should be racing, right?
See if you can hit.
Yeah, and he does.
That changes the race significantly.
And now Mike was looking for a 5. 3 6
Or a 9.
Yeah.
That's good.
Someone else in the chat also agrees that last game I should have thought about the cube.
But that whoever is saying that in the chat box is wrong, right? Well, whether I should double, I guess double or not. Yeah, I decided it wasn't quite a double yet, which turned out to be correct. Now, what kind of game plans are we both playing here?
You're racing.
I'm racing, and
He's priming.
he's got nobody behind the prime though, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's kind of at this point
Yeah, contact.
the game, right? And maybe it can convert to a racing game because he might be ahead in the race right now. Right? Probably he's ahead in the race.
Do one here. This is a bit awkward. Oh.
Well, again, let's have a look at the
I think
rate.
given that you have 5 checkers on the 6-point, and this last checker remaining to escape for white, I think you have to hit and do this. Yeah.
Okay. So Art's saying it depends upon the race, right? And so if I'm way ahead in the race, I would play 6-3 without a hit. Right? But I'm not way ahead in the race. Right? Not going to play this right here. I'm behind in the race. And so I'm not going to try and leave blots to be hit. So it looks like because I'm ahead in the race, I need to try and equalize a bit. And that's why I made the play I did.
Do one here. This is a bit awkward. Oh.
Well, again, let's have a look at the
I
rate.
think given that you have 5 checkers on the 6-point, and this last checker remaining to escape for white, I think you have to hit and do this. Yeah. You don't love it. Sometimes it is correct to play 6-4 and then advance that checker.
Yeah, 6-4, advance it to the 3-point to reduce the hits back, right? So Steve rolled a good number. He hit and he diversified. Okay. I'm nowhere near a cube.
63.
3
I do minimize log pumps.
Why do I hit him so quickly?
You're behind in the race, so you
Mm-hmm.
And it prevents him from making another point in his home board.
Exactly, right? He's diversified over here. I don't want to make that prime stronger. So I don't know if it's right, but I've got a reason. I've got a purpose for making that play. He hits me again, and he pushes it because he wants to remain diversified over here. Anything else would ruin his diversification. So I went through all the possibilities, and I thought, hey, this has got to be the best play. I don't want to hit from 8 to 5. I don't want to leave a direct blot and keep my back checkers split. This is the play I'm going to make, I'm pretty sure. Okay, that's interesting. So when we look at it with XG, we'll have to see how close Paris is to correct on that. Right? 4-3, can Steve just run away or should he make his 4-point?
Probably better off making the 4-point.
Yeah, I would think so in the past, but what XG is telling us now is it might be better to run away. So I don't know anymore. Right?
Especially at a trailing score.
Okay, so Steve, who knows XG because he's played with us so much, is going to run away.
You're not have to worry about gammons as a different score.
So my play is pretty straightforward. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to improve my prime, right? Either make the 7-point or the 5-point or the 4-point.
You can play a little bit more loose, speaking. This position's a little bit awkward. I mean, you do have a lot of contact value, but when Steve eventually makes his 5 and 4 points, it's going to be a really unpleasant position to be in. Low on timing as well. Right, 6-4. There's not much here to do, but to continue building. Steve's going to look to.
There he goes. What's he going to make? Which point? The 4-point?
The 5-point or the 4-point?
Yeah, I think the 4-point.
I think the 4-point as well.
Yeah,
I think
this
because of the distribution. Wait, that's legal, right?
Yeah, I do think the 4-point marshalling.
I would make the 4. Better distribution of spares.
And you're already being primed in pretty well. You're already priming back checkers pretty well anyway, so 5-point isn't such a.
Mike is either going to make the 4-point or make the 5 and slot the 3. I'm okay with making the 4-point. Okay. But I won't fault the other plays.
These are always close plays.
Yeah, they're not worth. What's clear is there's not worth spending clock time on choosing between them.
Not like Mochi would do, right? They'll spend a lot of time on these minor differences and figure out and run on a clock time. I heard somebody say that he's lost on clock time 6 times in actual tournaments.
That's a spare distribution. Build a 5-point next. Double 3s. Okay. Now you might have to break the mid here. Yeah, you might have to.
I should have thought a little bit longer about it. But I don't think it's a huge difference between sliding the 2 and breaking the mid. We'll find out.
It's always annoying when you roll like a 6-1 and you're not able to clear the mid. Next roll.
You're saying from my position here.
We're in a situation where neither player is gammonish. So now we can think about normal cube decisions where Mike in an ungammonish position, 5 away, 3 away.
The cube for sure. Making a 5-point is just
take with about 21%. And
do you guys think I have 21% in this position? Okay, so I'm playing a contact game plan. He's playing a racing game plan, trying to come in against my anchors. My anchor on his 3-point, anchor on his 9-point, right? So that alone probably means that I have enough to take this thing right here. I hope I didn't drop it. I don't know. Okay, so I think it's a clear take.
And he probably has that. what's Steve's race here. Steve has 105. Mike has 40, 66, 98, 142. Wow, big race. Giant racing league. Let me count that again.
There are probably also close to 10% gammons as well.
105 for Steve. I'm going to count that again. 34, 70, 105 for Steve, and 38, 40, 66, 98, 142 for Mike. So, now I think that I mean, yeah, I think it's a take for Mike. I think this is a normal double and take. Steve's biggest threats are clearing the midpoint, because Mike has more than a holding game would normally offer by owning that the 16 point. He can break the midpoint next turn.
Yeah.
His if anything, if this is a take for money, he should be taking at this score. Ooh, I think that's a take, Mike.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think during this whole tournament, I was undervaluing the equity in my contact game plans. Okay? I don't know if I was too afraid of losing gammons, which I shouldn't have been in this position right here. But since then, I've worked a lot on takes or cube action in contact game plans. So I think today I would easily take this right here. Okay, so I dropped it. And XG says, let's go on to the next, out of the way, please. Oh, come on. I've got to get rid of this bar. You guys can't see, but it's in my way. And go in the next game here. Okay, 6-5. Who rolls that? Me. I go running, right? From here, he rolls 6-1. He makes the 7 point. 2-1. It's the initial position. And at first pass, XG says that pushing it, the play I made is correct, is what XG thinks. Okay. What's worth looking at Paris's comment about slotting. XG says it's a smaller area, but it's really close. It's saying if I made this right, it's really close, even though I've already escaped one checker and I don't want a second checker sent back. He says the gains from making the 5 point are going to be good. Right? But that's before even not quite as good as the 13-10, right? But somehow I got lucky and I made the best play right here. And my reasoning was I don't want a second checker sent back, and I want to pin his 8 point. So it's a chess concept of pinning a piece. So from here, roll 5-2. You see he's got a split, right? So 2 down is second best by how much? Let's see. By about 0.044, Japanese blunder. Okay, so the best play is this right here. From here, I rolled 4-3. I said the race is equal. I'm going to run away. Right? I'm going to make this a running game if I can. And XG says, oh, that's not even close to doing anything else. And then he rolls a hitting number. And this is interesting that XG says doesn't give me a frowny face here. It doesn't say it's really bad. So it'd be a mistake not to do anything but to hit. Okay. So here he is, after hitting, he's ahead 15 pips in the race. Okay? So that hit changed the race the balance of the race by quite a bit. Okay, I rolled 3-6, and my choice after coming in was be to play 9 to 10. But this is the Walter Trice point, right? That this point has been traditionally undervalued in the backgammon world. Okay? So XG says, hey, this is by far the best play. From here, Steve rolls 6-3. Right? He's head in the race. He wants to make it, convert it into a race. So the play that he makes of playing 14 to 8 and 24 to 21, that's got to be best. Oh, is there something else here? Oh, come on. Oh, this is the control button, not the not button. Oh, this is interesting. So the top two plays. This is the play that Steve made right here, right? Which seems thematically correct, right? And what XG likes a little bit better, but it's a coin flip, is better coverage of this board right here. But he is 15 pips ahead in the race. So I would make his play. But I would also do a rollout here to see how close these guys are. Okay. So from here, I rolled a 2-1. Right?
Mike, what's it doing when you're hitting that little clock?
Well, I'm saying next time I do an analysis on this same match, take what's already been analyzed and keep that, but then add rollouts for these three positions right here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Because I'm curious about what the real equity difference is between this guy and this guy right here. Okay. So Paris thought this was correct, but actually doesn't agree. I thought it was right. Okay, at first pass, XG says, you got to hit, okay? And after you hit, you should take it down to here. That's what XG is thinking, okay? As opposed to exposing another blot with the play that I made. And then the play that doesn't hit at all, where did it go? 6 to 3, has become even a bigger error. And hitting 2 becomes a blunder. So I oftentimes ask it to do a higher analysis on a play that it knows is incorrect, but I want to see the difference in equity, right? So it's saying this one's correct, pushing it, and it's better by a good amount than my play right here. Okay. He rolls 4-1 and hits and diversifies, right? And then from here, I roll a 3-1. And it seemed right to have to hit to keep him from building. And so it's a blunder not to do that. He rolls a 4-1 to hit again and keeps his diversification. Then I roll 3-2. Paris says he thinks it was right to hit 8 to 5. And I thought that it was right to make the, so let's see which one we're looking at. This is the play that Paris thought was right. And this is the play that I made. And actually says the equity difference is 0.035. Okay. So this is the right play right here. But Paris' idea is same thing as last time. Don't let Steve make points. If I have another checker sent back, not so bad. I'm 47 pips behind, right? And maybe I need to start working on a contact game plan instead of racing with being so far behind. Okay, so from here, Steve rolled a 4-3. Okay. So the choice was either running away, and he's 47 pips ahead, right? versus making the 4-point. And they weren't sure, right? I think that's correct, right? That they weren't sure. But maybe they didn't say very much about it. But XG thinks this is clearly right. You've got the racing lead. Make sure you make it a race first before you try and do anything else that's improving your frontal position. Okay. So 6-2 from here. My goals are pretty simple. Try and build my containment game. So I brought 2 down. But all these guys are really close right here, right? Slotting the 4-point after bringing the 6 down, 13-5. They're all really close. Okay. So from here you roll 6-1. Okay. From here. Okay. He keeps the diversification. And he just plays to the 7-point. Or 6-point rather. Ooh. This is interesting. On the first pass, you see what XG thinks is correct? Slotting. It says, your opponent has no board to contain you yet. You make this point, you're in really good shape, and you can double them. So it says slot, and it agrees. It agrees with Steve play at this point. After it does a slightly deeper analysis. Okay. So from here, from this position, I rolled a 6-4. Right. I want to keep building. So it's thinking that possibly this is the best play. You've got a more solid prime, but you're leaving a blot here. And they think, actually saying that the pip count is so different. You're so far behind. You get hit back here. It's not going to be much difference anyway. Okay. But he's saying that play and the play that I made like this is a toss-up. So from here, Steve rolled a 3-2, makes his 4-point. That's got to be better than making the 5-point. And then, oops, I don't want to roll it out. I want to XX it, plus. So from here, I rolled a 5-4. Okay. So they were happy with either of making the 5-point or making the 4-point, right? Or Art was equally happy. And it looks like the toss-up. Toss me making the 4-point display right here and making the play that I made right here. And let's see if it gets verified. Yeah, it's a toss-up, 0.003 difference. Okay. So from here, Steve rolls 6-4. And he gets back the diversification and plays 6-2. Right. Then I roll double 3s. And I misplayed it. I think XG is going to say you need to clear the midpoint. Yep, that's what it seems to say. But it's saying that there's not too much difference between clearing the midpoint and leaving a blot here, or stronger frontal position, versus 2 down, not leaving the blot, but improving next turn. And this one too, again leaving the blot, because of the huge difference in equity. So from here, instead of clearing the midpoint, which I should have done, I did this right here. Steve said double. Okay. He's ahead 37 pips at this point. Okay. And do you guys agree that I undervalued my contact game plan? I thought, nah, no racing chances, really. Maybe a few % racing chances. And if I do hit, though, I've got some winning chances. It's saying this is a bare no double and a huge blunder not to take this. Okay. So I think those are the 2 big errors I made in this match. Oh, there was a blunder where I should have doubled, and another take where I should have taken or dropped. I went too far the other way. Okay. Okay, it is 1934, an hour and a half. How long is the next game? So the score is now 4-7. It's long enough that maybe we should call it right now. Is that okay?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. So what do we learn today, boys and girls?
And more time thinking about whether you should take or drop.
Yeah, and don't underestimate my contact game plan. I did that in this game, this match right here. I did this, I think, with David Habib. I think I did it with Jason. So for some reason, I wasn't evaluating my contact game plans enough. So since then, I've looked at more reference positions with contact game plans, other matches I've played where it was clear to take those contact game plans. So again, the two ways to win the contact game is a hit, no hit. If you don't hit, what are your chances in the straight race from that? And if you do hit, what are your chances of, first of all, getting a shot, then hitting that shot, and then containing that blot? So that's a three-way parlay. If you get a chance to hit it and you hit it, and you contain it. Okay. And I was grossly underestimating. I was underestimating that. I think it may have been my fear of losing gammons in the contact game plans. Okay. Do you have some deep thoughts, Radha? You're squinting at the position. No. I think she's looking for her mute button. No? Okay, I don't know. Okay. All right. So enough wasting away in Margaritaville. And when do I see you guys again? Next Wednesday for another hike. Right?
Or Monday for Zoom.
Zoom. Oh, Monday. We have Monday's thing. Okay. Yeah. So what should I prepare for Monday?
Well, we need to see this. We have so much time invested into this analysis. We need to finish it.
Yes, we do. But I've learned a lot from going over this match. Right? A lot. Okay. One thing that I've been working on the Anki deck for the Fuji Backgammon Dojo. And I've been working at it both ways. From the white belt level, which is basically the goal of the white belt. If you achieve the white belt, you will be able to play backgammon. Okay, so you'll know all the rules. You can play a game, but you won't know the value of things. You won't know how good, you'll know how to make a point, but you won't know how good making a point is, right? But white belt says you can at least play a game of backgammon. Not until you get to the yellow belt, you start getting some understanding of the value of things. Okay? And I've been working the other way around. So starting with something like Mark's delicious position. And in order to understand that, you need to understand bearing in against contact. Right? And to understand bearing against contact, you have to understand bearing off against contact. Right? So I call those dependent concepts. So in order to understand bearing in against contact, you need to understand what it looks like when your checkers are already all in your inner board and you're bearing off. Right? So I found that you need to simplify it and simplify it and simplify it. And then if you understand all those things leading up to it, you can possibly understand the whole thing. Okay. So yes, and I made some advances in that. I've also looked up how can I protect the material. It turns out you can't really protect an Enki card deck, but you can protect documents. So for a white belt, it was going to be read this transcript or this document and or watch this video, and that'll give you all you need to know for how to play a backgammon game. And then you get tested on that with the Yankee deck. Okay. So that's the idea. And so it looks like a lot more has to go in the documents because those can be protected instead of on the Yankee cards. I wanted to put a lot of things on the Yankee cards before. But I think it's going to be enough to say on the Yankee cards, okay, you need to study these concepts before you understand this card right here. And what I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning and I had to ask AI was, can I use a Boolean expression to find positions in an Yankee deck so I can study those? So I wanted that Boolean expression so I can study, maybe the Boolean expression would be something as simple as, give me all the white belt cards and learn those cards. Or it might be, from Mark's delicious position, it might be, give me the bear in against contact cards, right? And you can do that by using a Boolean expression, finding those cards. You actually have to rename the deck and essentially create a new deck. That's a subset of the huge deck. Okay. So I don't know if that means anything to you guys, but there were actually some big advances today in terms of the dojo. Okay. All right.
Mike, a point of clarification. When you officially established the dojo, what is the name? Kathy and I have been going back and forth. We think that your official name of the dojo is Fuji Dojo.
Fuji Backgammon Dojo is the working title. Right?
Okay.
So what do you have suggestions for?
Oh, I thought it was Fujita, and Kathy told me I was wrong, and of course she was right.
Okay. Yeah, so I use Fuji instead of Fujita, and then Fuji Backgammon Dojo. So Fuji referring more to, in Japan, Mount Fuji, the big mountain, right?
Yes.
Also loosely associated with me. I thought about the Fugu Backgammon Dojo, which used to be my backgammon name in the old days, right?
So that explains your pufferfish.
Right. That explains. That's a nickname they gave me back in the old days.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Rada, can we go bye-bye?
Oh, bye-bye.
Okay, we can. Okay. Bye. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you,
Thanks,
Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.